Hey, what's up everyone? In this video we're comparing the New Balance Fuelcell TC against the Adidas Adizero Pro. Hey, what's up everyone and welcome back to Fordy Runs. Now if this is your first time at Fordy Runs, I want you to smash that little pink button down there that says subscribe on it. Go to our Facebook page and join the Fordy Runs running community and check out the description. There's loads of cool things, including a link to both of these shoes. Right, so this week we've got a battle of the carbon plated racing shoes. We've got the Fuelcell TC against the Adidas Adizero Pro. So let's get stuck in. Right guys, so we're back battling out the carbon plated shoes. There seems to be so many carbon plated shoes out there at the moment. And I thought it'd be cool to compare the Fuelcell TC against the Adizero Pro. Why? I think they're sort of relatively in the same space. There's going to be a Fuelcell shoe that's an out and out racer, and there is the Adios shoe from Adidas, which is like more of a vapor fly, more of a alpha fly coming out. Well, it's out, but you've got to try and get your hands on it because it's like, well, you just can't get hold of it. So I thought it'd be cool actually to compare these two where they are. This is £180, this is £160. So they're not a million miles away in terms of price point. And talking about price point, let's get into some of the features and some of the stats like we always do. Let's start off with the Fuelcell TC. Like I said, it's £180. The shoe weighs 9.9 ounces. You've got a carbon plate running through the whole shoe. It's got the massive slab of Fuelcell foam. TC, by the way, stands for training and competition. You've got a single layer mesh upper. You've got a stack height of 30mm in the heel and 20mm in the toe. And you've got a 10mm drop. So then we come on to the Adizero Pro. Now, this has got a combination of Lightstrike and Boost in the midsole. You've got this brand new Cellar Mesh, I think it's called. Where is it? Yeah, you've got the Cellar Mesh upper. I just checked with my notes. You've got the Cellar Mesh upper, which is super breathable. You've got a nylon carbon infused fibred heel plate, and it's kind of wishbone shaped, so it sort of goes off in two ways. You've got 39.5 millimeters in the heel, 29.5 in the forefoot with a 10mm drop. Shoe is weighing 8.3 ounces, and then on the outsole you've got the Adiwear rubber on the heel to help with abrasion, and then you've got this sort of quick stripe DSP things here. Now this is kind of adding traction but not adding weight, if you see what I mean. You've got exposed Boost here and Lightstrike, and then you've got these sort of strips going through there, and that's the Adiwear on the heel. Kind of cool, no? But yeah, and then you've got the Continental rubber up there. The Adidas is pretty cool. You've got loads of holes there to lace it up and try and really drill it down in terms of fit, which is kind of cool. The overall feel of the shoe is very, very breathable. It feels light, but not like mega light, but it does feel light. And I would say what's the best way to describe it? I spoke about it in the other videos if you've not seen the reviews of it. This shoe really, I think, is better suited for somebody who runs much more on the forefoot, which is not me. I tend to, well, I was a heel striker, but I moved more to the middle part of my foot now. But I think you really need somebody like Michael, who was on the channel a couple of weeks ago in the Endorphin Pro, who, you know, runs a 2:50 marathon. He's, you know, always running on his toes, and he would get the, you know, the amount of sort of, what's the best way to describe it? Well, they say that when they developed this shoe, that like the athletes were saying that like 30 degrees is where you really get the kick from the plate, I think is what they said. And I can see what they mean. You really need to be up and angled and on your toes to get the most out of this shoe. Which is kind of why I was left disappointed if you've not seen the other videos. Then you've got the TC, which has got this massive slab of nice and soft Fuelcell midsole, which is super responsive, and then they've stuck a carbon plate in it. So you hit the Fuelcell and then you sort of get the crack from the carbon plate, which is cool. The shoe's a little bit heavy, 9.9 ounces. I think it's quite heavy for a carbon plated shoe. I think personally this is more of a up-tempo sort of long run shoe. I think this is definitely suited for half marathons and 10Ks. This is probably more, I think, more of a training shoe, and that's where I've been using it, is more on training runs and stuff like that, where I wanted to do like, you know, a middle distance run, so let's say 15, 20K, but like picking up the pace. This is where this has sort of come in for me. The fit, both of these are true to size. You've definitely got a little bit more room in here than here. They're both quite wide, so I wouldn't say you've got anything to worry about in terms of fit. The Fuelcell TC's got, you know, traditional lacing, where you obviously, I said just a minute ago, you've got this cool little system where you can lock it down. So which one do I prefer? Well, actually, I don't really care much for either of these. Like I said, this is a shoe that I stick into the rotation literally to go to do those 15, 20k runs where I want to pick up the pace, and that's about it for me. And the reason for that is because the Fuelcell is so soft, it's almost too soft for me, where I sort of fatigue pronate. And if I do too much work in this shoe, I tend to get a little bit of pain on the inside of my shins, which is a bit disappointing because I actually think this is a good shoe, but I think it's just me and my running style. It doesn't necessarily suit as much. But yeah, this is a good shoe. So, and by the way, they've just released this in like a red colorway. It looks awesome. And this, I was just left really unimpressed with the Adidas, the Adizero Pro. It just left me feeling a bit like £160, really. I think, you know, if you're looking for a carbon plated shoe, there's much better out there that can give you a lot more, is my personal opinion. I am not a huge fan of Adidas, and that's nothing to say that there's anything wrong with them. It's just a shoe that a brand that doesn't necessarily suit me. The Boston shoe line is meant to be excellent, and I will try and get around to testing one of them. I know the 9's coming out soon, and I'll try and get into them there. But I don't know, I was just left feeling a little bit numb after this shoe. I just think you're better off with like a Saucony Endorphin Speed or even the Asics Meta Racer. So between these two, personally, if you're looking for a carbon plated shoe, I would go for the Fuelcell TC. But just be aware it's got quite a high stack, and the Fuelcell is quite flexible. So if you do sort of slightly pronate, that won't suit you either. So I don't think I've helped you much in this video. If you're looking for a carbon plated shoe, go and buy the Endorphin, either the Pro or the Speed.